All my friends are Protestant and will say a lot of things are works. How do you define works from a Catholic perspective? Okay, so and for anybody who's interested in like a really lengthy treatment of this, works, scholastic answers. Let me see what the oh my goodness. That's like a video from like 3 years ago. Oh no. That was probably awful. Works justification. Oh no, I cannot find this. Oh, here we go. It's called St. Thomas Destroys Protestants on Justification. In this, I go through like every text from St. Thomas where he's discussing the relationship between faith and works. I go through a bunch of texts from St. Augustine. I go through the way in which I read certain passages from St. Paul. But there's two ways in which we can speak about works. So, on the one hand, we can talk about works as in the works which are established in the Mosaic law. So, this would be like circumcision, Sabbath observance, etc. Those are, in a way, the works of the Mosaic law. Okay, and then in a second way, we can consider works as in something which flows from a principle that is interior to us, commanded by our will. So when it comes to justification, justification is said to be by grace through faith and not from anything of our own, because in that sense, it's talking about initial justification. Okay. So initial justification is that motion or that change from injustice to justice. So you can read, for example, in Ephesians 2. If you have a very close reading of Ephesians 2 or Titus 3, those are my two favorite texts. What you see is very clearly they say, we are at one point walking in darkness. We're at one point walking after the flesh, following after the lust of the flesh, separated from the knowledge and love of God. We're at that level right there. And then we have this illumination by Christ where we are raised up with him. And this happens by grace through faith. And these are not something which is of the works of our own, right? So this is talking about the transfer from darkness to light, from works of the flesh to works of the spirit. That transfer right there, that does not have preceding works done by nature that somehow demand that transfer happen. This justice is not acquired. It's an infused justice. Okay. So when it comes to works, we are in no way, in no sense, never justified by works in the sense of the Mosaic law. Those are not justifying. They're actually both dead and deadly. And then when it comes to works in general, when it comes to things which are simply commanded by the will, those which are done by a principle of charity, those which are done in a state of grace, they're said to justify men, as we see St. James talking about. This is about our increase of justice that happens after we are already in a state of grace. Sorry if that didn't make sense. I meant that to be a lot more snappy, but I feel like I'm getting a little sleepy right now, so I feel like that was not as clear as it could have been.